Yeah, that's right. I'm talking about Family Guy today. In all honesty, I became a big Family Guy fan when I put it on when going to sleep. At first, it was just some mindless slop to relax my mind. But as the slop went on, I began to notice a shift in the characters and their dynamics. There's a popular post showing the 3 eras of Family Guy: classic, middle, and modern. The classic era consisted of tamer, family-focused humor with sparse cutaways resembling an edgier Simpsons. Stewie's villainous world domination plots and Peter's bumbling father figure were central. The show was more grounded with less shock value. The middle era. Post-revival, the show embraced edgier, more offensive humor, increased cutaway gags, and meta humor. Animation shifted to a polished, CGI-influenced style, and characters like Brian and Meg began evolving. Brian began evolving as a more liberal voice, and Meg became a punching bag. For me, this era was peak Family Guy. It had the best storylines, character dynamics, and the perfect amount of degeneracy. The modern era had further flanderization of characters. Instead of a stupid father, Peter devolved into a psychopath, and Brian was a hypocritical douchebag who would fuck over Stewie if it meant he could get laid. It heavily relied on pop culture references and a mix of hit or miss episodes. This is where I come in today. I'd argue there's a new era, the postmodern era of Family Guy. Some of the characteristics that define postmodern Family Guy are the most pathetic attempts at padding out the runtime, emasculation of main characters like Peter and Joe, and a more extreme flanderization of characters in ways we haven't seen before. The examples I just listed are also in modern Family Guy, but postmodern Family Guy cranks it up to 11. I guess I'll just go character by character. Chris. In modern Family Guy, it's pretty clear he went from the bumbling idiot to a horny degenerate. But in postmodern, he's regressed to a full-on gooner who can't speak normally to women.
Touch my feet! Touch my feet!
I like when you measured my feet at the store, Brian's girlfriend. It's a porn room.
I could go on and on, but it's so weird seeing the transformation go from an awkward fat kid to a degenerate sexual deviant.
I'd watch a movie.
I'd watch a porn movie.
Peter. In postmodern Family Guy, Peter's been a character that's been emasculated.
I feel like everyone watching knows I'm incapable of pleasing my wife sexually.
In modern Family Guy, there's many episodes where Peter mentions to Lois how unhappy he is in their marriage.
I want you to know, I haven't been happy for a long time.
But in postmodern, we've seen him begin to actively cheat.
Rebecca's my girlfriend now, Lois. She's always felt like more than a foster, and we've decided to explore those feelings.
Lois. Lois has been reduced to a lame suburban mom. There's actual videos that are titled Lois being a lame suburban mom for 8 minutes. She's been reduced to a miserable person who only derives happiness in things most people find mundane, like being voted the best customer at her local grocery store. Quagmire. Quagmire's transformation has been the most interesting, and not in a good way. For some reason, they made him really jaded and mean, mostly toward Joe. There's moments where we see Joe try to tell a story, and Quagmire is the first one to shut him down.
So, I'm at the sea.
The story is already too complicated and boring. Peter, take over.
Instead of the sex guy, Quagmire just comes off as an angry man who can't stand to see people have fun. And his hate isn't exclusively directed toward Joe. Cleveland also feels it.
Really?
Whatever. I like liking things.
This clip is a perfect example that shows Quagmire's transformation.
Hang on a sec.
This leads into my next character, Joe. Even though modern Family Guy has certainly reduced him down to a punching bag when it came to cripple jokes and emasculating him, there was still the occasional episode where we saw him reclaim his manhood. We have this episode titled Joe's Revenge, where Joe reveals he lied about his injury being caused by a fight with the Grinch, admitting that criminal Bobby Briggs shot him during an undercover operation in 1996 after Joe's cover was blown. When Briggs escapes custody, Joe, Peter, and Quagmire start their hunt for Briggs. Joe eventually finds him. Intending to cripple him, Joe shoots Briggs but accidentally hits an artery, killing him. We also have the episode where Peter and Quagmire encourage Joe to have a one-night stand with his attractive new partner named Nora, in order to even the score with Bonnie for her own indiscretions. Although this episode doesn't exactly show Joe reclaiming his manhood, it paints Joe in a relatively positive light, as an able-bodied woman is displaying physical attraction toward him. In other episodes, we see this garbage.
You're a two-wheeled monster!
When looking at his relationship with Bonnie, it was pretty bad. Modern Family Guy occasionally crossed the line with cheating. Some examples include the one where she runs away with Brian and when she goes to France. But by the end of both episodes, Bonnie always comes back to Joe. It's also revealed that she never slept with Francois. Now in postmodern Family Guy, Joe's accepted and is actually okay with being an actual cuckold.
Yeah, me and Bonnie have been doing a fun role play thing where she dresses up like a sexy maid and then locks me in a storage unit while guys come over.
Another noticeable aspect in modern, and especially postmodern Family Guy, is like Lois, Joe's been reduced to a miserable person who only derives happiness in things most people find mundane, like eating peaches.
Whoa!
This very trait of finding the most mundane things enjoyable is what triggers Quagmire to start roasting him.
You have a very weird past.
Brian. I'm going to admit up front that I actually like Scumbag Brian. He's created some pretty fun episodes, especially the ones where he's alongside Stewie. I don't have too much to say, but one thing I've noticed is that the writers have made him an EDP 445.
I may have sent some weird DMs to Zendaya that I'd rather not see the light of day.
Euphoria Zendaya or Disney Zendaya?
Yeah, a little from column A, a little from column B.
They've also completely given up on the author aspect. Stewie. Middle in modern Family Guy was where Stewie really shined, but in the postmodern landscape, he's just been boring, straight up. In conclusion, the writers of Family Guy have somehow made the characters regress even further, which is impressive. This has created a new era of Family Guy that is absolutely horrible to watch. And don't get this confused with modern Family Guy, because even modern Family Guy had episodes where they showed a semblance of a family. One notable example was when Meg turns 18 and Peter defends her from Quagmire's advances. Now, postmodern Family Guy feels so lifeless and devoid of any real emotion. It's not a family, it's a show with characters doing their own degenerate behavior. The characters are ruining someone's life, or having their lives being ruined, or they're simply content with their lame life. My theory for this further spiral into degeneracy is that it's a way for the Family Guy writers to project their own inadequacies and insecurities. Even their specials are so dog water now. I saw the Halloween special where Joe enters a pumpkin contest. There's a side plot where Stewie kills Rupert in a toilet. That's basically it. That's the whole episode. It feels so empty and a complete waste of time. Contrast this to one of the earlier specials, like Road to the North Pole, where we see Stewie try to kill Santa Claus. It's filled with funny jokes, and we see the dynamic between Stewie and Brian fully on display. The way Family Guy's been for the past couple years, I don't think there's any way to come back from this, but one could hope. Now, after writing this script, I watched a lot of season 23 episodes and also realized that Family Guy is so creatively bankrupt as well. All they do can be chalked into two categories. 1. The plot revolves around the characters getting upset over something extremely mundane. Or 2. It's a parody episode where they mock other shows or movies.
The woman at table 35 wants a sausage for her buns. That was a sex joke. Say giggity, chef.
Giggity, chef.
And especially in season 23, there's even more emasculations of the main characters, even Quagmire. There's an episode where Quagmire sleeps with the librarian and can't say giggity.
Oh God, what am I gonna do?
And there's another episode where Peter is incapable of throwing a baseball. Here's some more broader characteristics I saw in Postmodern Family Guy after watching season 23. The dialogue sounds even more lifeless, notably from Peter and Chris. There's a lot more cringe camera angles and character movements. The characters' pupils are bigger, and overall, they look more polished. It's honestly hard to describe, but you'll begin to notice it. Now, I'm not going to go through each season to see exactly when the postmodern Family Guy era started, but a good estimate to use is when Brian started to say, "oh, word."
Oh, word?